Don't tease me with lives that aren't live. That's the first so this first series of comments here. Don't tease me with lives that aren't live. I get very hornery, or is it ornery? I prefer the horn. All right. Well, just read some comments to you guys. You can see them yourselves. Let me know that you can hear me. Let me see if I can change my. Ooh, that's cool. All right. I'm always playing with the software. I have really no idea what I'm doing. Tech is not my thing as I build blockchain projects. Why is time moving so slow? Yeah, it's crypto time, man. We're on a different, we're just different now. We live on crypto time, hyperspeed. Give everybody a minute to join on. We'll go town hall, not a typical town hall. Typically, we do this on Thursdays, the last Thursday of every month. So you can mark your calendars, of course. The last Thursday of this month was Thanksgiving. The last Thursday of next month is the 30th. It'll be almost New Year's, but we'll do it on Thursday. Last Thursday of the month, we do our giveaways, we make our announcements, we send all our rewards, all that stuff. We've obviously been throttling back the rewards because we've been rewarding you with new tools. And there's some really cool stuff coming. I'm going to tell you what they are in just a moment as people jump on. Thank God we are live. I know. I'm sorry to make you wait about 2 minutes. I posted the link about 2 minutes early. I can hear you just fine. Throttling Pamp. Yeah, I got to suppress it, man. I can't just have everybody get too rich too fast. So Wolf Den Town Hall, welcome if it's your first time. I didn't share this link in other groups. Just because I don't feel like answering a bunch of questions they have without context. But if you are from another group, if you are from a Phantom project of ours, or just another partner on BSC, welcome. We do this every month, Wolf Den Town Hall. We just kind of recap what's going on. Typically, we have a ton of games to play. We like playing games. We like to make sure they're win-win-win. Of course, if you go to wolf.wizard.financial, we do have our Wolf Den game. I believe this goes live in about 20 hours. We've had some of these go for 10 or 12 hours straight. Big fat rewards. So hopefully you guys are around. It's going to be some crazy time in the morning for me. Somebody might get the pot. Let me see. I don't want to change my wallet right now because I'm on Phantom Network. The pot's probably pretty big, and you got to remember that the way this works is you bid a certain amount of Wolfies, and the timer starts. It counts down from 90 seconds, and then somebody else bids. It counts down from 90 seconds. Whenever the clock hits 0, the last bid gets the whole entire horde, and these hordes are getting huge. They're getting in the just outrageous numbers. So 60% of the pot goes to the winner, 30% gets kicked to the reserve, and the rest gets burned. Okay, so what happens is we start seeing stuff like this, right? A large amount of the supply of Wolfies is sitting in the Dragon's Horde, and a large amount is getting burned, and 60% is going to the winner. So one of the reasons we have a lot of sell pressure is because we reward really heavily to play this game. Now what happens is when somebody wins the pot, let's say they get $3,000 worth of Wolfies. I actually think it's been more than that lately. But let's say they get $3,000 worth of Wolfies. What we typically do is they claim their $3,000 of Wolfies, and then we send them $3,000 in like BUSD so that they can come over here and support the ecosystem by providing Wolfies BUSD LP. They don't have to. They can just do whatever the hell they want. They can sell their Wolfies and they have $6,000 of BUSD. So just an insight as to how these games typically work. This game goes live 24 hours after it, exactly 7 days after it ends. Exactly 7 days. So it started on a Saturday morning, and they go for longer and longer and longer. Now it's starting on a Sunday morning. Eventually it'll start on a Monday morning. Okay, so the next round starts exactly 7 days after the previous round ends. The rewards are huge for the winner, right? But the reality is we encourage everybody to play. And if you time it just right, you can win with one little tiny bid. You can win with a bid. And a bid is like, it was $9 when we built the game. It's probably a little bit more now because the price of Wolfie's gone up. But the truth is, by participating and getting other people to participate, you are helping engineer your own kind of wealth here, right? We're taking Wolfies out of circulation, but we're not just taking them from you. We're participating as a community. We're playing a game together. and we're giving out big rewards. All right, so this goes live tomorrow morning. I don't think I will be live when it goes live. As often as possible, we do this together. But crazy week, we got Thanksgiving and all these launches and stuff like that. Great job being more patient than me with other people. It's rough. So if you've been watching, if you've been trying to support some of these launches, you might remember when you first came into the Wolf Den, you were like, man, that guy's pretty aggressive talking about me. I actually always sound like this, but in writing, I come off pretty aggressive. But then, if you try to support other people by the dozens, hundreds, or thousands, you realize you have to be very straightforward with people in this space, or they will wreck themselves and they will find a way to try to wreck you too. Not intentional. It's just ignorance mostly. Great work last night. I like charts. I know you like charts. All right. So Wolf Den Town Hall. Let's walk through this. Let me go to my notes. A few things to update you guys on, and then we'll get into the fun stuff. Actually, we'll do some fun stuff first. If we go through this, we see Night TVL took a tiny hit, which is fine. The price is holding up just fine. It took a tiny hit because a bunch of people moved funds over for Dark Knight, and of course the market's still a little dampy. So when we go to these farms here, you're going to see that's BNB pair, that's a BNB pair, that's a BNB pair, ETH BNB, Bitcoin BNB. All of these pairs will actually increase the TVL significantly when Bitcoin and BNB recover, right? When Bitcoin gets back to 65 grand and BNB is back at 700, even if there's no additional assets, this TVL will grow significantly. Okay, so TVL is the measure we're looking at, but we have to think it's relative to the macro conditions of the market. People still don't quite understand that because this is shown in US dollar. People have a very hard time understanding how assets, especially assets that fluctuate in price so frequently, how to think about them. Right, so our total number of assets is going up. The TVL creeped down a little bit, partially because of situation, Dark Knight launch, and partially because of the market conditions. Right, so I encourage you to learn how to really think critically about what's going on. We see dollars, and on some level we know it's crypto, but we still process like if this dollars went down, then right. Let me give you an example. In your bank account, when the dollars go down, because every dollar is worth $1, the number of assets, dollar bills in your bank account has gone down. That is not how these assets work in crypto and real estate, like any assets other than a US dollar, right? So you could have 15 gold bars in here, and the US dollar value will fluctuate. It will go down. That doesn't mean you have less gold bars. You still got 15 of them. It'll go up. It doesn't mean you have more. You still got 15 of them. Right, so crypto, you just have to think in terms of assets that have a value, and people struggle with that. So like, oh no, people, yesterday it was true, but when the TVL first started going the other direction, because it just went up, people think, oh no, they're removing assets. But you can see the data. You can actually go to the analytics and pull up the data. People were not removing assets. The assets are just worth less right now because the market got a little dampy. So that's one of the biggest struggles I see in crypto is people. They say, I hate the US dollar. I want more crypto, but then their brain processes everything as if it is single US dollars. And it is simply not. Okay. Hopefully that makes sense and gives you something to think about as we move forward. Everything's pretty groovy on Dark Knight. This is still the most reliable. Our base case still sits on Night. Our base case sits on Night. A majority of my personal TVL and our team TVL, our team funds, sit on Night. It is more reliable. There is more liquidity. It is known. BSC is not a mystery. You can find, we have some amazing devs, but if they all get hit by a bus, you'd be able to find more devs that know exactly how to navigate BSC. For all those reasons, it's exponentially more reliable than Phantom at this point. I do believe that's going to change. It has not changed. But because we can close the gap, so because we have a solvable problem, and if you're in the Wolf Den, you know what I'm talking about, right? If not, go through our documents, and hopefully it'll make sense. we have a solvable problem and we can close the gap on BSC, it doesn't make sense to put a majority of our funds into speculation. Okay? We've shown our holders 100 times. You can get everything you want using Guard, BUSD, Night, End. There's no reason to take that apart. You can get everything that you want in an appropriate amount of time. So even though we believe that Phantom has more upside and ultimately it will have a better speed to cost to security ratio, right now it does not, because there are not many projects, which means there's not a lot of liquidity, which means you don't have as many options. Like in case of emergency, break glass, you don't have as many options on Phantom yet. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. So our base is BSC. I'll tell you, if you want to know, I'll tell you how I'm rolling new funds in. And just drop in the comments, let me know, and I'll tell you how I'm discerning between Night and Dark Night. Just my personal preference. I like closed systems. I like to make less moves. I will take less upside in order to make less moves, because you do not win by making more moves. You don't win by working harder. You don't win by rushing. You win by not making mistakes, because everybody else is going to make mistakes. So you just stay the course and do not make mistakes, and everybody else will. Everybody would have been in the NFL if they didn't just blow out their knee, right? They would have been a millionaire if they would have just not sold Google at, a month after they got in, a month after their IPO. Like, everybody, go talk to everybody that hasn't quite made it to where they want to be. They will tell you, well, if I just didn't do X, Y, Z. That's the power of hindsight. So don't put yourself in a position to do X, Y, Z. Avoid bad things. That's really the game. There's so much upside. You can go over to Dark Knight and be like, oh my God, 2,000% APR. But who cares? Because this 70%, this 96% APY will get you everything that you want. So if that means you got to unpair and sell and bridge over, that's 1, 2, 3 moves where you can make a mistake. For no reason other than you're rushing, impatient. You're chasing upside. Hey, we don't chase upside. That is not our methodology. You are welcome to. If you do that, I don't want credit for it. If you become a billionaire, I don't want blame for it. If you wreck yourself, it is not our methodology. I don't want credit for anything that I did not recommend ever. I don't want blame for anything I did not recommend ever. Okay? Most people want credit for the good and want to avoid blame for the bad. I don't want any of it. I don't want any of it. Okay. You can see here over 10 million on. So Night. This is our base case. Our base case will sit on Night for a very, very long time. There is no reason it doesn't. It shouldn't. I have a very low aversion to risk. I will personally tinker on Dark Knight quite a bit. I will probably make some mistakes. I'll probably lose some money. I will share with you how I've lost money. Okay? But that is not our base case. Cost myself millions trying to do too much. Now I do nothing. Yep. And I know we've talked about it personally. Shared that at the Dallas event. So more moves is worse. Settle in your base case. Be done with it. Okay. Once your base case has you on track to lock in what you want, then it makes a whole lot of sense to play with other stuff based on your disposition. Right? I am a tinkerer. I play what I call an infinite game, meaning I only do things to figure out if I want to keep doing them or not. I don't really care about the money. The reason I don't care about the money is because long time ago, I set up my version of the base case before crypto and have essentially locked in everything that I want. Right? If that wasn't the case, I would care a lot more about money. So it's really important to understand context. People are like, oh man, people think it's crazy to hear the owner of the Wolf Den say he doesn't care about money. There's some comments yesterday. But yeah, you wouldn't either if you just locked in your base case and stopped pushing buttons, because you'd be on track. All right. Hopefully that makes sense. Do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button. We got a lot of viewers, not a lot of likes. A lot of people thought I was upset yesterday. I'll talk about that. I wasn't. It's just I was basically would have had this tone. We have a lot of projects. Okay. Now most projects can't even get their whole community rowing in one direction. We have 5 or 6. Okay? And thus far, the community has been amazing. So if you're in the Wolf Den, I have no negative feelings with what I said yesterday or I'm about to say just now. It's amazing. You guys have been able to row in the same direction and handle your shit, navigate 5 or 6 different projects effectively. That's very, very, very impressive. That is kudos to you guys. However, it seems as if the evidence suggests that we have hit the limit as to what we can introduce. Because, again, a whole bunch of people did take apart the base case, the most important. It's like we taught you how to play Jenga or build a pyramid. And over said, you understand, you never take from the bottom to add to the top. Right? That's how it becomes unstable. You never take from the bottom of the pyramid to build the peak higher. You never take from the bottom of the Jenga pile to try to stack higher. Right? Because that's very, very fragile. You can only do that so long before it all falls apart. And we introduced a new piece and a whole bunch of Wolf Den members, because we can see the activity. You can go to analytics and you can see what people are taking apart. It's public. So it's a whole bunch of Wolf Den members took apart their base to try to add more to the tip, to try to get a little bit more extra out of it. That tells me that we cannot introduce anything new. Okay, we're just going to keep supporting the base because that's all you need. It's all you need. Introducing more would be diametrically opposed. It would be an action on our part diametrically opposed to our macro teaching. We teach, do not take from the base. We cannot continue to introduce new things when we have evidence that it causes people to take from the base. Right? So hopefully that makes sense. We can't, our methodology, based on the comment here, we can't say, look, you understand the golden goose? Yes, great. You don't kill the golden goose. You just let it lay golden eggs. And then when you see something shiny, you kill the goose. That tells us that what we are introducing is putting our foundational teaching at risk, and that's okay. We will still build. We have rolled out 2 phases out of 6. 2 phases out of 6. However, it is likely that the Wolf Den and others will not know that it's us. We may do it anonymously and introduce it later. Unfortunately, this is the point where as a community, last night's launch was a good example. As a community, we have provided the evidence that we cannot navigate more complexities effectively without doing damage to ourselves. Make sense? Hope that makes sense. Okay, so if this is a leadership thing, okay, and this is my personal opinion, you can disagree. That's okay. It's a leadership thing. If I say, okay, we did this, and even though we told them to, a whole bunch of people killed their golden goose, then we should probably not do this. Right? Just telling people what to do and then being like, well, you didn't listen to me, so you got mindset issues, bro. That's not leadership. Okay, leadership is showing people exactly what they need to see, when they need to see it in order to make the best decision for themselves. Hopefully that makes sense. Because we want to ride this base case for years, decades. Okay, so introducing things and letting people wreck themselves, knowing it's going to happen, is not appropriate. That's our opinion. Now, said all that so that you do not FOMO. Dark Knight launched yesterday. It did, somebody can correct me, 1,500, about 5 million. I think it got 5 million to pre-sale. It was a $300,000 cap, and we raised either hair under, hair over 5 million. That is a testament to what people believe, or the belief in the Wolf Den, because we did zero marketing. We didn't have a Twitter until after the hard cap was well exceeded. Okay. So you can see here, these farms are live. It did great. But let me show you Dark Knight here. It took 12 hours to get 10 million in TVL. 12 hours to get 10 million in TVL. Let me tell you why that's cool. It's different than BSC. It's because 10 million, see, these two are ads. Those are ads, so we're not looking at those. 10 million puts us at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That puts us the fifth largest DEX on Phantom in 12 hours. So you can kind of see where we're going with this, right? Great, again, testament to the Guardians, to the Dire Wolves, to the Wolf Den, to everybody that's participated. It's great. Next target's going to be obviously shooting past Zoodex, which is Zoocoin, which is a pretty big one. I've never heard of Scarecrow. Spirit Swap and Spooky Swap are the big dogs. And we'll just, Spirit Swap's only 87 million, right? So just a moment to that's a moment of gratitude. Look, what happened yesterday inside the Wolf Den, I'm not upset about it at all. It's evidence, and I just share evidence. Now, people think I'm upset because they're not used to adults communicating. People typically only communicate when something is wrong. I communicate whenever I see new evidence so that people can learn from it or give me some insight or something, right? But what happened yesterday was, all right, the evidence is we cannot introduce new things because people will start making bad decisions. As a leader, you don't just tell people what to do and then shame them for not doing it. You don't introduce new things if the constituents or the members or the clients are going to behave poorly when they're introduced. It doesn't matter what you say. That's like the biggest myth of all time. Like, say the right thing. Saying the right thing is helpful, but knowing how to show people only what they need to see in order to make the best decision for themselves is what a real leader does, in my opinion. Now, I'm certainly not a great leader, but knowing that, I'm going to behave the best I can, behave accordingly. Okay. So what happened was, evidence said, okay, we cannot show them any more complexities, right? As a community, they're not going to be able to navigate the complexities effectively. It's too much to pay attention to. Like, look, you guys have jobs, you have businesses, you have families. I don't expect you. It's not your responsibility to know everything that we're doing. It's really not. However, when what we are doing exceeds your capacity to understand it, given the other things you have going on in your life, then we have to throttle back what we are exposing you to. And so I hope this helps you understand. Like, I'm not upset. I don't know why people think I'm upset. It's just I don't know that there's many people maybe in your lives that take this position, which is complete transparency when appropriate, right? And then once it's obvious, once the evidence suggests that more transparency is going to cause more confusion, you throttle back the transparency, not out of trying to hide something, but out of leadership. Okay? So hopefully that all makes sense. But what it also showed us is that, man, we move a lot of TVL with a very small audience. This has not been public yet. We don't even have we have the Wizard Twitter right here. We don't even have the Dark Knight Twitter up there. So you're very, very early on Dark Knight, and you're very, very early on Night. Night is on a mature platform. So you're very early on a project on a very reliable, known platform. That makes Night, again, the base. On Dark Knight, you're very early on a project that is on a platform that is very early. That gives this potentially more upside. It is also unknown. Because it has more upside, you don't have to put as much in, right? Like, let's say everything on Binance could 2x. It's never going to happen that way. But let's say that everything on Binance 2x's. You're winning life. Okay? But everything on Phantom could 6x. Let's just, as an example, which means you could put 3 times less on Dark Knight and still win life. Most people are going to go, ooh, if it has more potential, I should put more money into it. That is how humans take a bet with asymmetry to the upside and immediately kill the asymmetry to the upside. It's why people are bad at probability. They're bad at optionality. They're not very good at math. They don't really think things through. The higher the upside, the less you should put in. That's the point of taking a high upside bet, is the asymmetry stays to the upside. If you sell everything you own and cash out your kid's college fund because something has high upside, you're actually taking more risk, even though the upside is high, right? So you put additional funds that don't really mean anything to you right now, you put those in high upside plays. Moonshots, the stories of moonshots are Mario. A lot of you know Mario. Mario went from $80 to like, I don't know, 10 million. Right? Dogecoin Millionaire went from $40 to millions. What people miss is like, I want to be like that. And then they ape in $50,000. But the key point of those stories is that they started with 80, not 50,000. Okay, I hope that makes sense. A lot of you are you're going, ooh, this has 1,000x upside. I should ape into it, which is exactly the wrong thing to do. Because it has 1,000x upside, you could put $100 in. But $100 in, multiply it by 1,000, it's a huge win with a tiny risk. That's risk mitigation or domestication. Okay? So hopefully this is making sense and you're just thinking differently. You can disagree with me, but I implore you to at least think about how and why you disagree and formulate a thoughtful argument. I am open to thoughtful arguments. When people go, who the fuck is this guy? Get this idiot out of here. Like, that's not a thoughtful argument. That's just somebody that's triggered by having to use their brain. Like, it's fine. Just don't be that person. Or be that person. Just be that person somewhere way far away from us. All right, so hopefully you can understand a little bit about night, dark night. I would put a majority of my funds on night, especially if they are solvable problem funds, meaning that's your retirement, it's going to be your paycheck, it's going to be your college fund. I would put it on night. That's my personal opinion. And I just explained why. Right? For things that are very, very, very important for your solvable problem, we want reliability. Little bit unknown with more upside, we collapse time. So we lock in everything we want. And then, if we choose, we can try to get there faster after we lock this in. Okay. In the last 24 hours, there were 42 transactions selling night to BUSD, BNB. I have no idea what relevance that has. If you're going to make a comment, then like maybe a conclusion or like some context. Nothing bothers me more. Just so you guys know, if you want to see me get irritated, is when people just make statements. Like to me, it just sounds like, here's something that is valid. I don't care about validity. I want usefulness. It's a big, big difference. People walking around trying to get validated. Here's a valid statement. Here's a valid statement. I'm heavily oriented toward useful. Give me a useful statement. Ask a useful question. Validity is just a way to rack up people think I'm smart points. It's not a good way to get anything done. And I'm picking on you because I know you personally. Yeah. So Dark Knight. Now here's I'll explain to you guys, since there were some comments requesting it. All new cash, for the most part, actually entirely at this point, I'm putting it to BSC night, because it's about the same amount of steps as getting it into Phantom, and that's where I want a majority. Like taking fiat and putting it in, I want in something more reliable, right? So most cash, what I'm doing is I typically go Coinbase to KuCoin to BSC, right? So everybody has their own path. It depends on the state you're in, the country you're in, yada, yada, yada. But I put funds, right, dollars that I worked for, into BSC. Right now, my primary macro belief here, for those of you that don't know, my macro belief is in Bitcoin for a long term. So I like a Bitcoin BNB pair. So when I roll into night, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a base case, guard BUSD. I'm going to use night until these are suppressed down to, like, these come back down to earth. Once these are under maybe 200%, which they need to be for sustainability, I'm going to use the raids, and I'm going to acquire Bitcoin and or Bitcoin BNB and put it in here. That's the process. I'm going to tell you a little bit about why my perspective on this changed, if you guys are interested. So I'm putting new cash into guard BUSD or night BNB, night BUSD. Depends on my time preference. And I'm acquiring Bitcoin. Maybe Bitcoin BNB. Depends on the mood I'm in. But I'm acquiring Bitcoin. Okay, nice closed system. Cash comes in. It all stays on night. That will accumulate like crazy. Now, if you get 70%, which we get far more than that because you get 96% compounding this. But if you get 70%, again, we get more because you're actually going to get yield on top of yield on top of yield. But we're a very, very conservative 70% in Bitcoin. And then Bitcoin goes 5x. You actually got, do the math, 350% on your dollar. 70%, and that yield went 5x. Right? Again, you got to stop thinking in US dollars if you want to do our farming, our treasury wallet. I tell people this all the time. It went from 3 BNB when BNB was $300. $900 is what we started with. It's well over 2 million now. And people are like, well, how's the math work out? Well, one, we didn't plan on that. We just have macro beliefs. And we can get, 70, 90, 100, whatever percent. Doesn't really matter. But if you are taking your yield and you're putting into guard BUSD or Night or BNB or Bitcoin or whatever you believe in, and then that asset then goes 3x, 5x, 10x, you've actually grown your return exponentially, but it was never recorded on this UI. Right? Most people never understand this. Most people do not have the capacity, and if you're struggling with it, that's okay. Just do what you've been doing. But just giving you a new way to think about things. So I can kick out 70%, buy Bitcoin with it, right? Drop it in here. That Bitcoin can go 5x. Bitcoin will go 5x from here. Who knows when, right? So now I got 350%, but I'm also, while it's sitting here appreciating, I'm getting another 76% on top of it. It's ridiculous. And I don't track most of it because I have macro beliefs. I know that this is my base. And I know I want more of this. I don't have to track it all granularly and move shit around and, pull up all these spreadsheets and all that stuff. Just don't have to. And it drives people nuts because they want to have all this information, but we consistently outperform them because their need for data is a huge handicap. Their need for data is a byproduct of not having a macro belief. If you know you want more Bitcoin, or you know you want more Ethereum, or even if you know you just want more US dollar, you don't have to lose your mind doing math. You just base case, put it in the RAID, sell the RAID for macro belief. And you just do that over and over and over and over. The math doesn't matter because you're getting more of what you want. If you're doing super granular math, that means you are thinking in US dollars, and that's okay. But then you have to accept, you have to say it out loud, my macro belief is in US dollar. And if you cannot say that out loud, then you are operating incorrectly for what you want. Does that make sense? Let me know if that makes sense. It's a lot to process and it takes time. But if you're going, I got more dollars today than yesterday and I'll get more dollars here. If you're looking at how do I get more dollars in the short term, your macro belief is US dollar. Now, if you believe Bitcoin is going to be $1 million and you want more Bitcoin, you don't do all this granular math because Bitcoin is going to go up, it's going to go down. You can get a negative return. I can get 3% today, which is a lot. I get 1% today, right? Buy Bitcoin with it. Bitcoin goes down 3%. I lost money in US dollars, but I got more Bitcoin. So if I'm thinking I want more Bitcoin, I won. If I'm thinking I want more US dollars, I lost. My spreadsheet's a negative. Does that make sense? Oh, I really hope that you understand that the game is acquire more thing you want. So the only reason to track US dollar is if the thing that you want is more US dollars. And that's where a lot of you are, and that's okay. But stop saying, I hate the US dollar. It's so inflationary. It's not going to be worth anything. And then showing up and operating with a macro belief of US dollar. Right? Is a huge, the dissonance is why you all wreck yourselves. It has nothing to do with the technicals that you're all trying to track. Right? So that's what I'm doing on night. Okay, now dark night, what I'm doing is I'm just moving my Ethereum gains, right? We sell a bunch of NFTs. Moonshot, Floki, TrueBit might run and I might take profits. I'm just bridging Ethereum gains over because it's so easy to bridge Ethereum, right? And the gains are so outrageous if you know how to think about it that it's just not worth making extra moves for gains that are more outrageous than outrageous. Okay. So, and also, if this is helpful to you, it's going to be a long video. Most people won't watch it, but if somebody's struggling how to think about crypto, then you can you show them this. So and you go to all the Wolf Den, go to the Wolf Den documents. We actually break this down on our white paper and all this stuff. It's all about a macro belief. If you think Ethereum is going to be worth 50 grand, then your whole strategy should be acquire Ethereum for free. Acquire $1,000 of Ethereum right now, or 10,000 or whatever. Let's say $30,000 of Ethereum, and if it goes to 50 grand, that's going to be what, almost 400 grand or something, right? But today it doesn't matter because Ethereum was down yesterday and the day before. So you could have a spreadsheet, and your spreadsheet can say you lost money farming today if it's programmed for US dollars, which is why nobody gets filthy rich, because they go, oh, I'm losing money, and they switch to a strategy where they'll make money on US dollars on the spreadsheet. And then Ethereum goes to 50 grand and they don't have any. They got a whole bunch of dollars they accumulated, and then the Ethereum just blows those gains out of the water. That's why you have to have a macro belief, right? Skate to where the puck is going. So Dark Knight, same concept. I just acquire Ethereum and Phantom. I acquire Dark Knight because that's buying power. Phantom, we're going to have an Ethereum farm on here soon. It'll be Ethereum Phantom. So my goal when we have Ethereum Phantom, I love Undead. Undead is a huge spec play. When we have Ethereum Phantom, my strategy here will get as much Ethereum Phantom, it'll be right here probably, as much Ethereum Phantom LP as possible. So I will just take my Dark Knight, I will put it in a raid. Okay, I don't sell Dark Knight. I don't sell Night. People that sell Night are silly. But that's okay. I don't sell Dark Knight because that's buying power. I'll put it in a raid. I will sell off the assets, and I will buy either Ethereum or Phantom, and I will accumulate hundreds of thousands of dollars of Ethereum and Phantom. And when they 2x, 3x, 4x, whenever that is, it'll be millions. It does not have to go up every day on a spreadsheet in US dollars. It's a very good way to stay poor, right? You can do well. You can get 70% in US dollar, which will make you a lot of money, but you're not going to get those explosive. It took 5 months for our treasury to go again from about 3 BNB to over 2 million, and it's a byproduct of having a macro belief and an awareness of the macro market. Yeah. If you don't have an awareness of the macro market, then what are you doing in crypto? Serious question. You should be in crypto. If you don't have awareness of the macro market, you should be in crypto playing with stables or the base case, because we'll guide you through that. Right? So you should operate with a belief in the US dollar, and you'll get 63% on your US dollar. It's better than anywhere else. But don't be playing with Crush and Wolfies and DEP and Sing and Pets. That's dangerous, because you have no idea what the macro market is doing or how it operates. And if you do, then you should have a macro belief. There's just a series of things you need to work through personally that have nothing to do with all the stuff that you're tracking. Hope that makes sense. So I do get gains on Ethereum. I have moonshot plays, I have long holds, I have a bunch of stuff on KuCoin. When I convert that, when I cash out, turn to Ethereum, I bridge it to Dark Knight. So as of now, all of my Dark Knight funds are Ethereum. Right? There's just bridging Ethereum over. Everything else I put on Knight, and that is just for simple. Probably a dumb question, but when you go to buy ETH or BTC with the yield, you go back to I just buy it on Knight or Dark Knight. If I spot buy, a couple months ago, I sold a company and I bought Bitcoin with 100% of it. I bought that on a central exchange, right? But anything that comes from yield, I just want exposure. I just want exposure to the market. right? So this is it's just Bitcoin. It's Binance Peg Bitcoin. Bitcoin maxis will be like, that's not real Bitcoin. I don't really care what any maxis say. Maxis are so blinded by their maximalism. I just want exposure. So I just buy on night. Less moves. I do have just Bitcoin sitting in my wallet right now, BTCB, because I've been BCS congestion was so bad yesterday, or BSC, sorry, congestion was so bad that I didn't want to try to pair it, and I was focused on Dark Knight. But I'll pair my Bitcoin and BNB. And you can see there's a little over $1 million of people that have done the same. Undead. So here's, for those of you that made it, I got an announcement for you. We did, let me go to the marketplace. Let me go to see if it loads. I think I have to import it. Oh, there we go. So for those of you that were at the Dallas event, you know the Wolf Saw NFWs. We sold 69 of them for 0.69 ETH each. I checked with the dev because I was on a flight, so I didn't really know when they were listed or whatever. All 69 sold in 40 minutes, he said, from the moment he listed them to when they were sold out. 40 minutes. Okay. Now, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them. 2 of them are reserved for team members. The other 4 I'm going to give away, and they are probably going to flip a nice profit. I'm going to give at least 2 or 3 of them away to anybody in the next mint, which is 420 NFWs, non-fungible wolves, 420. There is a game, and I'm not even going to market this. We'll put it out to the people that saw the reveal, and if they don't buy all 420, then I'll maybe put some work into explaining what it is. But there's a game, International Soccer League. There'll be 10,000 total. We're minting them in batches, 69, and then 420, and then 9,511. So the next one, these were the first 69, the first 6. Okay, the first 6 out of those 69 were ultra rare. They were the 6 rarest in the game. They are god level. The next 63 of that 69 are ultra rare. They're demigods. Okay, those have all been claimed. Now the next 420 are rare. So you're still getting, if you get this mint, you're still getting one of the 489 rarest out of 10,000. It will probably be ready tomorrow as an INO, an initial NFT offering, okay, which means you can go in and you can get however many. I might set a limit to how many you can get, right? So one person doesn't buy 50 of them. That'll probably be ready tomorrow. So you can get in this. Let me show you. I'll see if I'll put it in the comments here for you. Make sure you're in this Telegram group because this is where I'm announcing it. We are going to split off announcement channels, so you have to pay attention because, like I said, a majority of people are having a hard time keeping up, and we cannot continue to confuse them. So I will tell you, if you're interested in this, I just put it in the chat. If you're interested in the Wolf Saw NFW mint, go there. Do not drop into any other chat and be like, what's going on with the NFT mint? That's lazy. Pay attention, okay? Right place, right time. Do not abdicate the responsibility to figure shit out to others, because what it does is it starts confusing other people, and then when they do it in groups that you're in, you get confused. It's not a mystery as to why this space is such a fucking wreck right now. It's because there's a low barrier of entry, right? And there's a whole bunch of people that have no business running projects, trying to run projects, which means they don't know how to communicate, they don't know how to protect people, they don't know how to do any of that stuff. And I'm not particularly good at it, but I have to try to do better. We have to try to do better as a community. Okay? So part of that is pay attention. Do not drop into the first Telegram you see and be like, hey, what's Nick doing over at this thing? Do not tag me in your random ass community asking me questions that have been answered in the appropriate channels. Right? That sounds harsh, but in the real world where people make a lot of money and have a lot of responsibility and want to continue to get wealthy, that is the expectation. That is how successful people think. Right? They don't just drop into random ass groups and say, hey, somebody find this information for me. It's not appropriate. So I just put the chat, the Telegram in there. If you want to know about the mint, jump on that. The question was, do we think Dark Knight fills up its cap faster, or do we think the 420 sell out faster? I posted that question on Twitter. It's going to be very, very difficult for the NFW mint to sell out faster. I think it took 15 minutes to hit the cap on Dark Knight. So I don't know that this NFT mint of 420 will sell out in 15 minutes. It will be Ethereum on Phantom. So you bridge your Ethereum over to Phantom if you want to participate. Have Ethereum on Phantom. You can use the Spooky Swap bridge, wrap your Ethereum, bridge it over. It's very, very simple. Doesn't take a lot of time. And then all you have to do is go and mint your NFTs. Everything will be explained in the Telegram that I dropped in the comments just now. Wolf pups. I mean, what can we say about wolf pups? There's nothing to be said. It's rolling. You can see again, CoinMarketCap listing was right here. We let them all wreck each other, and then we just kept resuming. That's, in my opinion, the sign of a good project. Is everybody thinks CoinMarketCap is their savior. It never is. It was actually like a blip. Our holders were ready for it. Did nothing. Everybody, these 200-something holders that all tried to pump and dumped on each other. And then all of our holders just kept on resuming. That, to me, in my opinion, is a sign of a very healthy project that does not give a shit about outside influence. Right? Nobody's buying our rumors. Nobody's selling our news. People see the news and they wreck each other. Our holders, unaffected. That's what we want. That's what I want anyway. You may want something different. And we can also see Guardian just cruising. Very, very similar. Guardian's CoinMarketCap listing was somewhere way back here. It's probably this green candle right here. All right, so Guard's still cruising. This is our base case asset. Probably going to have a different public-facing base case, right? And I'll explain all that later. And Undead. I'm a huge fan of Undead. You can see this little bloop right there. Everything that happens on Phantom benefits Undead, right? So everything that happens on BSC benefits Wolfies, and most things benefit Guard, right? So just some insight. This right here, this leg up, 10% of the Dark Knight sale bought back Undead, right? That NFT mint we're doing, a percentage of that goes to the marketplace. 3% of that goes to the marketplace and can be used to buy back Undead. So if you're an Undead holder, it's very easy. People just don't think. They just don't really use their brains, unfortunately. You can go, oh, look, they're focused on Night, on Binance. They're focused on Night. I guess that means that nobody cares about Guardian anymore. Well, you tell me. We started talking about Night right here. This is when we started focusing on Night. I might have been that leg up. Nope, it was right here. Right? Because everything that happens on Night benefits Guardian. It's been explained. I don't need to go into details, and I will not put it in the technical documents because we do not want complete strangers that can't sit and watch a 40-minute video trying to manipulate the market. Right? So, Undead is built the same way. Everything on Phantom benefits Undead. Not going to tell you how, not going to tell you when, because nobody should have the ability to manipulate the market unless they're paying attention. I always drop hints, but it will not be made explicit. Hey, we're going to buy back at noon. That's just going to get a whole bunch of people in ready to dump. Okay, so Undead's rolling. This leg up right here, that was the Dark Knight. So everybody's like, oh, I guess we're focused on Dark Knight now. Right? Bunch of people probably sold Undead, getting ready for Dark Knight, and didn't realize the synergies. Could have won twice. Could have won with Dark Knight and with Undead. So pay attention. Ecosystem is important. People get wrecked because they're always chasing where they think the hype is, not realizing that the way we build things, attention on Guardian benefits Wolfies. Attention on Night benefits Guardian. Attention on Dark Knight benefits Undead. Attention on this NFT mint benefits Undead. That's how ecosystems work. That's the beauty of DeFi. Nobody knows how to use complex systems, so they're just trying to buy my coin. I don't want you to buy my fucking coin. I want you to value the wolf den so much that you will buy and burn wolfies to get in. I want you to understand a solvable problem and how to lock in the life that you want and sleep better at night and get your spouse and family on board. And the byproduct of that is that you buy Guardian and pair it with BUSD. You see the difference? I'm not trying to buy guard. Saying, hey, look, let me show you how you can lock in the life that you want. You build a base case. You can even use your own macro beliefs, but ours is guard BUSD. Byproduct is something like this, right? Education, ecosystem. I do not want people to buy Knight. I do not want people to buy Dark Knight. I don't want people to buy Wolfies. I don't want people to buy Guardian. I don't want people to buy Undead. I want people to figure out what the hell they want, understand themselves, and then use the best tools to get there. Which means if we build the best tools, buying Knight, buying Dark Knight, buying Wolf Pups, buying Guardian is a byproduct of you understanding where you're at, where you want to be, and how to get there. Right? Most people will not do that because, one, they don't know how, and two, their tools aren't that good. If you can find a better tool to build your base case, by all means, go do it. That tool deserves your business. Does that make sense? I have no interest in trying to get people to buy shit. I want to build shit worth using. If Pancake Swap, Ape Swap, Baby Swap, we have good relationships with some of them, Jet Swap, if they were sufficient for what we were trying to do, we would just use them. We would not build our own. We didn't go, well, how do we make a bunch of money? Let's build the decks and get people to buy it. Said the tools that exist are not sufficient, and I know that we can build a sufficient one. That's why this exists. That's why Undead exists as a marketplace, right? In the long term, it's actually a gaming platform. But in the short term, there's not a good marketplace on either BSC or Phantom. And we run a lot of our stuff through NFTs. So you can see that we cannot help people get what they want reliably if we don't have a good NFT marketplace. So we had to build one or partner with one. On BSC, we partner with Wizard. Okay. So this is Swelling Tide, blah, 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 blah. Let's see what else I got in my notes for you guys. And then we'll maybe wrap up by... We'll have some giveaways. Right now, it's the Wolf games are so far off. They're like tomorrow morning. That it would be premature to... I want to get a lot of people engaged in that. Wolf Pups. Let me tell you about the Wolf Pup NFWs. You're probably going to want a lot of them. Now, we have to work on the UI. The contracts are built. We have to work on the UI so that Wolf Pups can be staked for Silver Guard. But in the meantime, we're going to work out right now, and we haven't sold any premiums lately, just due to circumstance. Premiums. Okay, so when you buy a premium, you then qualify for 50% of all of our profits from the marketplace. So our premium holders get paid every month based on our marketplace profits. We haven't sold a lot in the marketplace, so the profits have been low because we're rebuilding marketplaces. We're going to work out a plan to distribute where 50% of marketplace profits go to premium holders, and there's very few, which means they make decent, right? They get a nice big chunk. I think there's 7 or 8 premiums. So if the marketplace, we have $100,000 in profit, 50 grand of it split amongst those 7 or 8. The rest will be distributed amongst Golden Guard holders and Wolf Pup holders. Okay, so now Wolf Pup has become not only a way to yield a Silver Guard, which gives you access to things. Everybody has a Wolf Pup right now because they want Silver Guard. This is the first time I'm explaining that there will be a passive income that comes along with Wolf Pups. The exact details I cannot reveal because we need to get the tech sorted out, right? We have to start generating marketplace profits. But Wolf Pup holders will get distributed a percentage of profits. Okay? It won't be as much as... We could even distribute 50%, just like premiums, but it won't be nearly as much per, right? Because there's going to be 400 Wolf Pups and there's only 7 premiums. So Wolf Pups is something that you want to use in order to yield a Silver Guard, right? And you want to use the Silver Guard to yield a Golden Guard. That Golden Guard is going to be uber valuable. You can also use it to get a Ultra Premium. Ultra Premiums will be nearly impossible to get. Very few people will ever have them. But both wolf pups and golden guards are going to become a passive income source. How would you build a base case if you're building it on Phantom? I wouldn't. I don't fit square pegs into round holes, right? I would not build a base case on Phantom. The reason guard exists, let me explain. We built guard as a base case asset. There is no guard on Phantom. So I would not build a base case on Phantom. You are welcome to build based on your macro beliefs, but I would not. My base is on BSC, right? So you can build your base case however you want. If you can take what we teach conceptually and apply it to yourself, you're welcome to do so. What's not appropriate is taking what we do and then asking for advice on using a different platform, a different coin. It's like, how would you build a base case with Floki? Like, I wouldn't. That's an inappropriate question to ask me. You can develop a base case on Floki, but I would not. If I would have done it already. We would not have launched guard if there was an asset to build a base case around that met my criteria. This is how you can tell who wasn't listening. Yeah. That's okay. People want to say, how can I have reliability and upside at the same time in the same strategy? Like, you can't. That's why there's a bimodal strategy of risk domestication, right? You build your base case in a reliable way, and you build your moonshots on the other side in a different way. If you try to combine the two, you are going to wreck yourself because you are taking away the reliability and you're mitigating the upside. You're ending up with a symmetric bet. Why would you take a symmetric bet in crypto? Why would you pay $1 to win $1? It doesn't make any sense. Okay? So you can build your base case however you want based on your macro beliefs, and you sink or swim with them. You do not get to sink or swim, abdicate that to me using something that is not something that I've put together. Okay, hope that makes sense. The pathway to premium, if you're talking about a NFW, you would need wolf pups. You would use those wolf pups to get a silver guard. You would use those silver guard to get a golden guard, and you'd use that golden guard to get ultra premium. If you ask about just the NFWs, we just sell them, right? So the premium NFTs for the marketplace profits, we just list them as an auction. The last one went, they go between $5 and $10 per pop, and then obviously it benefits the previous premium holders because they get half of that. Wolf pups limited to 400, yeah, but there'll be another round. There's another round. I mean, we have a version 2, so it'll be different. It's always changing. Like, the thing about DeFi is, what's really interesting is people want answers, right? Like Microsoft gives them answers. Microsoft's also centralized. It's publicly traded. Yet your bank gives you answers. It also takes 99.999% of the profit that it makes off your money. So hopefully you understand that, like, in a decentralized world, if you go, just tell me how it works, like, you don't get it. You give me centralized support and answers, but give me decentralized upside and freedom. Like, no, that's not how it works, right? So, like, there's a ton of dissonance. Like, people don't really understand what they're doing, and it's not that they should. Like, it's not an easy thing to understand. It's not super intuitive. In fact, it's the opposite of anything we've ever experienced before. But people like, this is how it's done, right? Cool. That's how it's always will be done, right? Like, I don't know. It's decentralized. One party, like the Wolf Den or any party, does not own everything. When you trade on Night, for example, we do not own all of this inventory for you to buy and sell. It is provided by holders as liquidity. So in DeFi, many different parties have to work together and they share the upside equally, where in a centralized world, one party controls everything and gets all the upside. Hey, hopefully that makes sense. What else we got? So wolf pups. They're going to be passive premiums. We just sell them. We just list them on a marketplace as a auction for BUSD. And then, so let me explain a little bit ecosystem for those of you that have made it this far. Most people won't make it this far, so I could share this. When you see a premium, this is what's going to happen. We're going to auction it. They go between, the last few have gone between 7 and 10 grand. We're going to turn around and we're going to buy night with that 10 grand. Okay. And then when we distribute profits, we're going to distribute it in night. Some percentage of those people, probably all of them, are just going to put it in pools and farms and increase the TVL. So you see how now then, I told you, Wolf Pups is benefited by Guardian. Guardian is benefited by Night. You can see now how Night is benefited by the marketplace. Right? So if our marketplace is bumping, Night price is supported and going up, which means the yield on Guardian BUSD becomes more valuable. And all the taxes from Guard go to supporting Wolfies. It's this ecosystem. For some reason, that's very difficult for people. It's like it's not super palatable, but it's very, very straightforward. So you buy, we'll start auctioning off premiums again. You just got to pay attention. They go pretty quick. Everybody waits the last minute to try to get bids in. So they go from like 300 to like 1,000 to like 7,000. It's not a slow bid process. It doesn't creep up, or it hasn't historically. Then all you do is you hold that NFW, and once a month we distribute profits. Wolf Pups will also get profits now. Okay, and all of those profits, when we auction, we will buy Night, which is directly supporting the entire base case. Another reason my base case sits on Night, not Dark Night, because we have a whole ecosystem on BSC to support the base case. Okay. Simple in some ways. It's also extremely complex when people say, how does this work? Like, you probably need 150, 200 hours of really playing with it to really understand how it works, which is why I make these videos. You can watch, you can play. Do not ask me to oversimplify things that cannot be oversimplified responsibly. You would think that's an obvious statement, but it's not. Talked about why we're not sharing as many opportunities. It's simple. The community has to go above and beyond. And that's not a fair thing to ask for the whole community to sacrifice short-term gains for long-term wealth, because most people don't think that way. So it's basically, we're going to roll things out. People will go above and beyond. And as a community, by and large, it's been amazing. Until, for lack of a better term, you give them enough rope to hang themselves, which as a community you have, and that's okay. You just saw all the projects going on. That is more projects with more synergy and more upside potential than anybody else in crypto has, in my opinion. What other user base can navigate 6 projects to create more synergy to get wealthy that are all working together? I don't know any. So it's not like a negative thing that we're throttling back the new stuff. The other thing to notice, this came up. Somebody said, here, why is this APR? Why is this APR going up? Shouldn't it be going down? Which is like you want to complain about that. That's goofy. But here's why. Because the market is down, okay? You see here, Night is relatively sustainable. We buy this back to maintain the price that we want. So if you ever think Night is tanking, you are almost certainly wrong. You're just being selfish and myopic. As of now, we're small enough we have complete control over the price. So it's basically what we want it to be. It's within range. So Night is staying within range, okay? The emissions are the same. So if you have whatever in here, you're getting 10 Night tokens per block, right? If Night stays the same, but Bitcoin and BNB go down, you're still getting the same number of tokens, but the APR goes up because you're getting more dollars for less dollars. You're getting the same amount of dollars for less dollars. That's why APR is unreliable. It's back calculated based on token emissions. So APR shows that it's going up, but you're getting the same exact number of tokens. Same number of tokens. It's just that either the token being emitted went up in price, or the base went down, or both. That'll show a higher APR, but you're still getting, you have 10 Bitcoin, right? Or you have 5 LP tokens spitting out 10 night. That's the same. It doesn't change. What changes is the US dollar value of all of these assets, which means the UI back calculates a different number every time. If you have a macro belief, APR is fucking pointless. Hope that makes sense. Again, I'm throwing a lot at you guys. Wolf Den Town Hall. This is how it goes. I'm going to talk to Guardians maybe today, maybe tomorrow, maybe next week. Guardians have a very special task for you guys. If you are a Guardian tier, you're going to get a little bit more inside baseball, as you tend to do. And I'm gonna give you guys an opportunity. You do have to handle it responsibly. I'll explain it to you either later today, maybe tomorrow, might be next week. It's not a rush item, but it is an opportunity to make more money faster and understand what's going on. No guarantees, though. It just depends on what the market does. It is opportunity that otherwise would not be there. It's not a promise. Those are very different things. Let me look at the comments, see if there's anything in there, and then I'll give you guys the rest of your day back. Such a flip on what so many people are accustomed to thinking. Yeah, well, crypto, like, it's weird that not you in particular, that people think like, wow, this is unheard of. I can take the exact same thinking that led to everything I've already heard of and understand this. That doesn't make any, like, how does that make any sense? Wow, this is so different. Let me bring the same toolbox I've always been using to deal with it. It's like, what? Silly. Fair enough. I wasn't listening. Okay. Yeah, it takes months to understand it, but you don't have to. Like, that's the other thing, that you don't really have to. Like, I went to Elon Musk's Gigafactory, right? Here's the thing. People buy a lot of Tesla stock. People buy a lot of Teslas. I have seen how they make their new batteries. It's fucking insane. There's like maybe a handful of people, literally maybe a dozen people on this planet that could build their new battery packs from scratch. Right? That doesn't mean you can't get rich off Tesla stock or buy a Tesla. The need to understand the tech will keep most people poor. Like, just the idea, and this is maybe a silly thing for me to say, I don't know, just the idea that most people think they have the capacity, when they're like, oh, well, I better do my research. Like, what makes you think you have the capacity to even discern how to identify research of high efficacy, first of all, and then understand it and then apply it? Like, at the Gigafactory, I'm like, whoa, those are big words. That's super cool. I don't really understand it, but I'm going to buy some Tesla now. And I'm like, I better go home and do some research about these things, that this tech that didn't exist a couple years ago. It's silly. It's a little arrogant to think that, whatever you do, whatever I do, to think that I can pick up some of the most advanced technology in the world and do some research on it. Like, cool. Like, how many PhDs do you have? And I mean that, being somewhat facetious, but that's kind of the mindset. Like, people like can't put together a complete sentence, a thoughtful sentence, and then also they're like, I'm going to do some research on this. Like, I'm not so confident in your ability to even discern what research is appropriate. So just things to think about. Like, do you really want to waste a whole bunch of time trying to understand something? If you want to make money, you don't have to understand something to make money. The best traders I know, Mario, for example, again, I mentioned him earlier. Some of you know him. I think his partner is here. I love Mario to death. He'll straight up say, I don't know anything about crypto. And yet he turned $80 into 10 million. He's a great trader. The best Bitcoin trader I know, hands down. His name is Jordan. He doesn't know anything about crypto. He made a killing trading Forex, and then he found Bitcoin like 9 years ago. Doesn't know a single thing about blockchain. So just think about what you're trying to accomplish. Are you trying to understand crypto, or are you trying to make money? Those are two very, very, very different things. I think I just minutes now. Next, that's okay. Morning. Yeah, I say that's okay more than anyone else because it's true. I do. I'm very active. It's intentional because people think that like, hey, you don't have the capacity to understand this is an insult. It's not. I'm like, it's okay. People need to know that, especially because of the way that I talk in text. I don't understand it. That's why I believe it's worth investing in. Ooh, see, that is a perspicacious individual right there. Yeah, I say that's okay a lot because people need to know that it's okay. Like, here's what people need to know. You're okay. Everything's going to be just fine. I know exactly what to do, or I know who can help you. And as long as you slow down and follow along, you're going to be just fine. Because the whole world, right, and this is Wolf Den special right here, the whole fucking world is trying to tell you it's not okay and you need to buy my thing. That's all marketers do. It's not okay you look the way you do. It's not okay that you don't send emails. It's not okay that you don't run Facebook ads. It's not okay that you don't charge more for your service. It's not okay that you don't wear this kind of makeup. And not enough people, in my opinion, are saying, slow the fuck down. Yes, people can point out all these things that are wrong, and it's okay because it would be impossible to do all these things right. Pick your fucking lane. Figure out what you're good at. Figure out what you care about. Figure out where you're at, where you want to be, and the most efficient path to get there. Right. My personal opinion, too many fucking marketers, too many companies telling you it's not okay. The news, it's not okay. China banned Bitcoin. The world is over. It's not okay. 42 more COVID variations. So yeah, I do say that's okay a lot. Because I believe that people need to hear it. Especially from somebody that most people consider, if you don't know me, probably consider me a curmudgeon. Because I'm always in the groups like, get off my lawn. But you know what? Here's the thing. I can want you to get the fuck off my lawn, and that's okay. There's a lot of lawns to stand on. Like, I'm not saying it is a negative thing. I'm saying I own this lawn, and I don't want you on it. And that's okay. Go stand on somebody else's fucking lawn. Oh, that was fun. All right, so here we are. We actually have more than this. This is 9.9. We are sitting at, man, I hope I didn't just lie to you, 10.07. So we're going to keep trucking here. The Phantom incentive was changed. It used to be 5 million. Now it's 22. So we got to get to 22 million for the Phantom grant. It should be no big deal. I still thought 22 million was low, but then I realized there's actually only 3 dexes on all of Phantom that have that. So that's kind of a big deal to creep over 20 million. I think we'll do it pretty quick. Let me look through my notes one more time, make sure I don't miss anything. Market making, Guardians, I'll talk to you. Special snowflake syndrome. That's in my notes. I know what I'm talking about, but I don't need to bring that up here. All right. I'll look at the comments one more time. See if there's anything. Boom, 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 boom. Buy the hints, celebrate the discount. Yeah. Yeah, so someday we might build a base there on Phantom. The reality is I just want people to get what they want. And we can do that on night. It doesn't make any sense for me to like, here's how to get what you want. It's super reliable, and it's super reliable because the base asset is something that we have a whole entire ecosystem. We have a whole entire ecosystem that supports Guardian. There is not another asset on Phantom that has that. Right? There's just not. You could build a base. You could build a Dark Knight Phantom base. You might be fine. But Phantom's going to be volatile. We have no idea when it's going up, when it's going down, what it's going to do. Dark Knight Phantom's probably a safe bet. I wouldn't build my base on it, but I'll probably have a shit ton of it. Dark Knight USDC, I don't know. If I have a ton of Dark Knight USDC, it's just to bring this APR down and protect the ecosystem. 99% of the moves that I make personally, so I have my base case on Knight. But if you go here and you look at I'm not connected. If you look at where my assets are, I'm a long game player. I go wherever is going to protect the ecosystem the most, even with my personal wallet. So our treasury does that anyway. But even with my personal wallet, I build my base to make sure I get what I want, and everything above that, I only put where it is going to have the highest probability of creating sustainability for the ecosystem. I do not expect most people to do that. Okay? I totally understand if you don't want to. That's why the worst question you can ask me is, what do you do? You are probably not on my time preference. I want this ecosystem. I will make the moves to make this ecosystem last for a decade. I will not pay myself for 5 years. I don't need to. So that this ecosystem lasts. So people say, well, what do? You got to understand, unless you're on the same time preference as I am, and you're in the same position where you don't need to take cash, then what I do is definitely not what you should model. Okay? So I would not build a base case on Phantom. I will load up these farms. Just like, I'll show you guys something real quick. Let me see if I can do this without oversharing. I'll show you guys. I got to make sure this is going to show anything that I'm not supposed to show you. This is my personal wallet. Boop. All right. So here's my personal wallet. And this is at the end of the video. I might cut this out. Okay. So this is my play. 7, you'll see this. I've shared this before. Where's it at? Oh, there we go. 74FE. That's my play wallet. And you'll see right here, I keep most of my stuff paired. All of this, everything in Beefy on Phantom is going to get moved into Dark Knight. I just do it very slowly. So we put, our treasury put 1.2, 1.3 million into Knight, and you won't see it on the chart because we're protecting the fucking ecosystem. But see all this guard? This guard is unpaired to protect this APR. So I will damp the APR down. I will also remove my own assets so that all of you get the APY promised, which if you click this calculator, our guarantee is that we will do everything we can to keep the APY, meaning compounding, over 70%. It's 94 right now. Right, so my moves are literally to protect the ecosystem. I will unpair things to protect the ecosystem. I will pair things to protect the ecosystem. I will move farms to protect the ecosystem. I'm not sitting here doing this super granular math. I don't care. I'm not on a short time preference. And I'm betting on us. You don't have to bet on us. I'm betting on us. Why the fuck would I build something I wouldn't bet on? It's another question. So, I understand you a lot more now. Love it. Yeah, it's, I appreciate that. Difficult to understand because I do not spend time, as you know, I don't spend time talking about myself as much as possible. I try not to. I'm just more comfortable answering questions and sharing this is what I'm doing and why, and just stream of consciousness. And I think you can pick up kind of an understanding of how I think that way. When people go, tell me about you, it's like, no, fuck off. Don't put that burden on me. Don't make me work. So hopefully this all makes sense. You do not have, this is the most important thing, and I'm going to tell you it's okay again. It's okay. You do not have to follow my strategy. Our base case was built for anybody to get what they want a million different ways. You could take a paycheck. You could build a treasury. You can do both simultaneously. Our treasury wallet does 3-4 things now, right? It does 4 things. It compounds, so it gets bigger and bigger. It also splits off in 4 directions. One is team pay, so we pay our team off of yield. Okay? We never sell base assets to pay our team. It's yield of yield. Buybacks for Knight and for Wolfies. Treasury, right? That'll probably get kicked over to Phantom and grow. We have team, buybacks, treasury. Oh yeah, we have two different buybacks. We have buybacks for Knight and buybacks for Wolfies. Right, so you can, if you understand the ecosystem, you can have a golden goose that continues to grow while serving 4 different purposes simultaneously. Or you could just take a paycheck. Or you can just let it compound for 10 years and be rich. Like, the trick is, last thing I'll say about all this, and then we'll close out here. The trick is, know what you fucking want. Stop looking for, like, step-by-step walkthroughs, because your disposition is very important. Your goals, your priorities, the things that you want. That's why we do this all. We don't do this all to make more money. That's what you think. You want to make more money for a very specific reason, and that reason could very well change the strategy for you, right? Like which strategy is going to be the highest efficacy depends entirely on what the fuck you're trying to accomplish. More money is not a good answer in crypto unless you are willing to stand up and say, I have a belief in the US dollar. If you cannot say that with conviction, more money is not the way. It's not the thing to optimize for. It's not. In my opinion. And this is my channel, so I can say whatever I want. And I can pretend like it's a fact. Cool. If it's helpful, let me know. Any questions you have, drop in the Wolf Den. You can check out the Wolf Den documents, the website. It should all be in the description here. And obviously, you drop in the communities. Share this with anybody that maybe could use the insight, especially if somebody's like a detractor. My favorite thing in the world is talking to people that are detractors that disagree with me, because they either have incredibly thoughtful insights and they help me think better and change my operating system, or they just make themselves look silly. And that's extremely entertaining for me. Let me show you last thing here. I've changed my stance on my macro beliefs. Here's why. 5 months ago, I provided liquidity in PancakeSwap for Wolfies. We launched Wolfies. Okay? 5 months ago. In the past, and I show you this a little bit, I would not have done a Bitcoin BNB pair, because Bitcoin is a macro belief, and typically I don't pair them. I didn't have a good reason why, outside of maybe some impermanent loss, but I didn't pair them just because I just wanted to hold Bitcoin. As you can see, I have a pair here. I'm earning Knight right now. Now, I put 10 BNB and the equivalent amount of Wolfies, okay, 5 months ago. The rest of the liquidity was added by Guardians. The way you got into Guardian before was you provided a certain amount of liquidity for Wolfie's BNB, okay? So I completely forgot about it, and we were trying to find something in the contract, and I found this this liquidity lock, and it had unlocked. Now I'm going to leave this in here, but I went to go, oh, totally forgot about this 10 BNB I put in the liquidity pool. It is now 155 BNB. It was 10 BNB at $300. Now it's 155 at almost 700, 600 now. So what, 93 grand? 900 to 93 grand. I had never accounted for this. When I talk about the treasury, all this stuff. This is 5 months of just sitting in the liquidity pool with no farm. There was no yield. There was no earnings outside of just the trading volume. But a byproduct, if you know how liquidity works, when you buy Wolfies, you're putting BNB into the liquidity pool and you're taking Wolfies out. So when a project moons like this, there's a lot of BNB going in and a lot of Wolfies coming out. Right? So this is the result. Accidentally found $93,000 of profit that I totally forgot about. And I realized that if it's really a macro belief, right? If it really is something that I believe in both, I want more BNB and I want more Wolfies, or I want more BNB and I want more Bitcoin. The trading volume alone. So you can bitch about impermanent loss all you want. All you want. I put in 10 BNB and now it's 155. make a convincing argument for impermanent loss. Turned $900 into 90 grand. So any thoughts that I've ever had about impermanent loss, which I'm always throwing stones at people that worry about that stupid shit. When I found this, I just realized, if it's a macro belief and you're on a long time preference of a couple months or more, just fucking put it in an LP pool. The trick is you want to make sure that it's assets you want. You're gonna end up with more of both or more of one of them. But the truth is, if it's two assets, if it's like a Bitcoin ETH liquidity pool, you can't fucking lose. So my stance on macro beliefs has changed in the sense that I now pair my macro beliefs. I would love a Bitcoin ETH. It just doesn't serve any utility on the platform, right? But I'll go Bitcoin BNB, I'll go ETH BNB. I already told you I move all my ETH to Dark Knight, right? So on Dark Knight, I'll have a ETH Bitcoin. We'll have an ETH Bitcoin farm, and I will fucking load it up. And years from now, regardless of the farm, okay, those aren't farm profits; those are trading fee profits. So what you may not know is that if you're providing LP for Night BUSD, all of the trading that's happening, you're getting a percentage of, and you're getting the yield. Okay, so I just want to share this with you. Like, what about impermanent loss? What if Bitcoin goes up? What if Wolfies goes up? What if BNB goes up? Like, yeah, you are going to never accidentally make $100,000 because you're outsmarting yourself into doing fucking nothing, right? Or in this case, if either one of these or neither of them, right? So there's a crystal ball component where, like, if you're worried about impermanent loss, then you must have a crystal ball. I do not know. Boom, where am I at here? Here. If I want more BNB and I want more Bitcoin, I'm fucking providing the liquidity. If my time preference is more than a couple months, I'm providing liquidity. If I want ETH, if I want more BNB, if I want more GUARD, if I want more BUSD, if I want more of a macro belief, I'm fucking providing liquidity at this point. Because I've back of handed the math, but this is the real world. I put in 10 BNB and some number of Wolfies. There's a lot more Wolfies in this, so I lost some Wolfies. But who fucking cares? We did not know that this was going to happen. I will take 90 grand, turning 900 into 90 grand with certainty over trying to guess what the fuck is going to happen every day of the week. Every day of the week. 180 grand a year. And people are not capitalizing on it because, like, well, what if something happens and I lose potential gains? Your fear of missing out on things that don't exist is fucking crippling. So that is why I have changed my stance on macro beliefs. In the past, I took my biggest macros like Bitcoin and Ethereum, and I just shot them over to Nexo and just held them. I'm not doing that anymore. Because I'm going to hold them for years and years and years, I'm dropping them in Night. And as people trade, I'm getting more of one or the other. Over time, I'm probably going to end up with more of both, right? But when people trade Bitcoin for Ethereum, they're putting Bitcoin in, take Ethereum out. So in this case, I got more Bitcoin. When people trade Ethereum for Bitcoin, they put Ethereum in, they take Bitcoin out, right? So at any given point, any given trade, you're getting more of one or the other. Over time, assuming that they both appreciate in price, you're probably going to end up with more of both. And if it's in Night, you're also getting a shit ton of yield. So all of this, like 70% APR is actually, could be thousands of percent of APR when you count for the appreciation of the assets that you are getting paid in. All right, hope that makes sense. Appreciate y'all. I'm